You can love him, you can hate him, you can worship him, you can despise him. But there's one thing you can't do when it comes to Richard Hart, and that is admit he was wrong because he was right about a lot of shit that happened in the cryptocurrency space. Let's take a look here at one of his interviews over a year ago, August 2021, talking about Celsius and BlockFi.
If you have money in Celsius, pull it. If you have money in BlockFi, pull it. Or when you never get your money back, don't be surprised.
Bankruptcy. We saw BlockFi go down earlier today, and a lot of people are saying Richard Hart was right. Now, I put out a tweet earlier this week, and I said, Richard Hart tried to save us all. The ones that listened will survive. You can go back. You can just go to Richard Hart's Twitter page, guys, and see some of the videos that he had years ago saying, get your money off Celsius. Get your money off of BlockFi. He called out FTX very, very early. He has been preaching a message of self-custody, not your coins, not your crypto, for years. And I think a lot of people don't like him because he's flashy. He's flashy. You can see right here, I own the world's largest diamond, quickest Ferrari, and most expensive Rolex is made. 27 million charity, 10 million watches, 3 million cards. Richard doesn't read messages or email, but he's flashy. But guess what? After seeing what happened with SBF, I want a flashy billionaire. I don't want a billionaire that's saying they're driving a Toyota Corolla and they're sleeping on a beanbag. I want a billionaire that's flashy, that uses his money, spends his money, gives back to charity. And that's exactly what Richard Hart is doing. You don't want a guy that's sleeping on a beanbag, driving a 2005 Toyota Corolla. He's got billions of dollars. Spend that money. Use that money. Richard Hart was right about a lot of stuff. And I got to give credit to Richard Hart because inadvertently, it didn't really come through Richard Hart, but it came through a hexagon. I had my money on Celsius, a good amount, because I was getting duped by Mashinsky when he was saying that 8% on your USDC, 9%, pennies on the dollar when you really think about it. I had a good amount of my crypto on Celsius. But through a hexagon that followed Richard Hart's advice, he gave me advice and said, hey, get your crypto off Celsius, not your coins, not your crypto. And 21 days before Celsius paused withdrawals, I took 95% of my crypto off of Celsius. So inadvertently, it didn't come directly from Richard, but it came through a hexagon, which came from Richard. I was saved. And we're talking a good amount of money was on Celsius. I took it off, put it into self-custody, and I was saved because I was getting duped for the longest time, thinking that the 9%, the 8%, the 12% of my Polkadot was worth it. I would have lost everything. So Richard Hart gets a lot of shit in this space from a lot of people. He was right. He was right. I'll admit he was right. I think you will probably admit he was right. Comment below, guys, if you think he was right. Say Richard was right. It's trending on Twitter. Richard's always trending on Twitter. He tried to save people from the downfall. He tried to preach self-custody. And I think it's time that people start to recognize that Richard Hart was right about a lot of stuff. Now, you can love him. You can hate him. You can agree with his marketing style. You can not. But there's one thing that we can't disagree with. It's that Richard Hart was right. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below, and we'll see you on the next video.